As a Net fan, you're excited that Heinrich's out. Then you get the news half hour before game time, not even, maybe 10 minutes before game time, that Dang's out. And now you start, as a Net fan, you're going, oh boy. And you know why? Because, you want to win the game, of course. But now you're starting to realize, if you followed this team all year, you know that they are not a very tough team. I know my fluffy Nets broadcasters like to call me Mr. Downer, Debbie Downer. Self-proclaimed, I admit it. But I tend to believe that I'm more in touch with reality than the gentlemen that get paid to broadcast the Nets games. I mean, this Nets team is soft. They lack toughness. They lack a sense of urgency. Charles Barkley at halftime, I thought, said something compelling. He said, in fact, what the hell am I saying? I'll show it. I'll actually put it up. In fact, let's do that right now.
Listen, the Bulls, obviously, Derrick Rose an MVP. Dang is they're probably their best player overall. Noah's not a great scorer. Boozer's a fantastic, a really good player. There's no need for them to only be up by 7. Actually, I've been on their bandwagon all season, and it's frustrating for me watching this team play. They just play basketball. They don't play with any passion. They don't like. I think me, Kenny, and Shaq. Unless you some teams, they play with passion. And this team is not, they're just playing basketball. They're not playing like it's a do or die. They're like, well, we should win the game. But they should just come and step on this team's neck.
Then during the course of the game, you had Steve Kerr and Marv Albert also questioning the Nets. So my point is, you hear the Dang's out, and you start as a Net fan, all sports fans, we have egos. We believe we're idiots, men are. We believe our sports team is an extension of us, right? Which is ludicrous, but that's the sports psychology. That's why most men are dopes. So now we're like, if we lose without Dang, without Heinrich, without Rose, now it's even more embarrassing. To me, we're already embarrassed to be Net fans for blowing that lead on Saturday. Now we're in a situation where we really should win a game. I mean, first of all, we're more talented than they are going in. If they're all healthy, we're more talented. Now, 2 of their key cogs, Dang and Heinrich, are not playing. And, of course, we keep forgetting Rose. So now you're uptight about being embarrassed. And then you find out that Nate Robinson has the flu. He's puking on the sidelines. And then Carlos Boozer's in foul trouble the entire way. So, of course, it's a 17-point win going away, right? Wrong answer. Most of my Net buddies who I text back and forth with during the games were all disgusted. I mean, we did not enjoy a second of this game. And, you want to call us half empty kind of guys? We didn't even enjoy it at the buzzer. It felt like we lost the game. I mean, halftime was uncomfortable. You're up 6 at half. You score 60 points, yet you give up 54 to a team that already is offensively challenged when they're healthy. They don't have anybody to score. So, very uncomfortable game. The big three scored 12 points in the second half of the game. You're facing elimination. Your life is on the line. You're going home. And your big stars score a combined 12 points in the second half. Darren Williams didn't have a field goal. I mean, Lopez fumbled every ball. I mean, he took how about the off the wrong foot fadeaway? I know he makes it a couple of times, but in that spot, I mean, it was just such. I mean, you're sitting there after what we went through on Saturday and watching a disgraceful, epic collapse. Perhaps I don't know, nobody's talking about it, but to me, it's one of the greatest postseason collapses in history. I mean, I still want to find out. I wish there was a statistic to tell me how many other teams with a 14-point lead with under 3 to go lost in a postseason game. I want to know how many there are. After that, you come back, you win in Brooklyn, although another dogfight. A 19-point score was definitely not indicative of that game. And then you come here, you come out, you make every shot, but you don't guard anybody. I mean, I'm listening on the radio the first half, and good. I mean, who's going to make a stop? Finally, and then we start. And I got to my office, I had some paperwork to do, so I got it on Gamecast, and I see, we got up by 8. I said, that's it. All right, now it's 8. Slowly going to go to 12, and then we'll, maybe go between 12 and 7 and, 5, and it didn't happen. And we come out, and we shoot, we had seconds to go in the half, and we shot 20% from the floor in the second half. If it wasn't for Andre Blatche making a very, very difficult shot, I mean a difficult shot, over Noah, high off the glass, he doesn't make that shot, we're looking at another Saturday, but even worse, because now, some D-League, I don't mean to disparage the Bulls, they're not D-League, but you get my point. None of the key components to the Bulls starting roster is on the court in the fourth quarter late. Boozer's gone. No Dang. No Heinrich. And no Rose. So he basically, in essence, 4 Chicago Bulls starters not on the floor. And if it wasn't for Blatche's tough shot, this team would have folded. And Marv Albert made a comment. Steve Kerr did. And I showed you the Charles Barkley comment. And it wasn't comfortable. You want to feel great about winning a Game 6. I don't. I could see this team losing Game 7. I don't think Dang's going to play. I mean, if you're that sick, the last thing you need to do is get on a plane. I mean, he may play. How effective can he be? If Robinson's puking today, what is he going to feel better tomorrow after playing, how many minutes he played? Robinson played 42 minutes. He's going to feel better today? He shouldn't. I mean, they should be depleted. Heinrich, they say, can't walk. So, should they be even in a game in Brooklyn? Of course not. But this is Brooklyn. This is a team with no toughness. And, I was thinking down the stretch, I'm like, boy, is this postgame going to be wild if they collapse here. Because it would have been an hour-long postgame. We would have talked about every single player. And we'd have talked about the incredible lack of toughness. And then we talk about the GM, who had the opportunity to grab maybe, I don't know, a guy named Kenyon Martin, who I now am forced to hate, who I loved during his career. He was the identity. Of course, Jason Kidd was the star of that net team, but Martin was a tough SOB. You did not mess with Martin when he was in net. And even though he's 58 years old, he's still a nasty bastard. And I'm thinking, during this postgame, I'm like, here's a team that can't close out a depleted, ill squad. And our GM didn't find it necessary to maybe add a little toughness. Again, Bogan's not on the floor. I don't get it. I think Bogan's does provide a little. He's not Kenyon Martin. Don't misunderstand me. But Bogan's provides some toughness. He's scrappy and he can make it through. I mean, I know Brooks didn't play poorly in his cameo, but I don't want to see Marshawn Brooks in this series. I don't. In the first half, offense wasn't the problem. He scored 60 points. What was the problem in the first half? The Bulls scored 54, BJ. 54. That's right. Carlos Boozer in foul trouble. No Heinrich. No Luol Deng. And the Bulls, Robinson would have flew. Gibson not in foul trouble. The Bulls scored 54. It's defense that this team needs. It's defense. Free throw shooting. What do you do? I mean, to me, it's just another sign. I mean, look at all the personalities of a team that's, not tough and collapses and doesn't take pressure well. Look at all the signs. How about free throw percentage? Free throw percentage. 66% from the line. 22 of 33 from the line. I mean, and guys that normally make free throws, you know, with some misses. Obviously, we know Wallace is going to struggle from the free throw line. Darren Williams missed 2. Blatche missed 2. Watson, how about Watson missing those 2? Those were 2 big at the time. And Watson didn't play too badly. In fact, he played well. The big steal. Good to see that he laid it up instead of tried to dunk it. But I tell you, it's troubling. I mean, Darren Williams played a great first half, and he was the Darren Williams that we saw the entire first half of the year. This is now, I don't know, what did we play? We played 6 games. I would say Darren has played poorly in 4 of them. He was pathetic down the stretch. 3 turnovers late, 5 for 12 from the floor, bad decision making, and doesn't have these to take the big shot. He turned away at least 3 shots late as he doesn't want to shoot. You know, we know Johnson wants to take the shot. We know he's not. You know, we know he has the onions to make a shot. But the personality of his team is frustrating. You know, watch. You know, I'm a little bit of a fanatic, so I like to rewind and just watch Lopez box out. I'm gonna try and put some video together of some plays to see why Brook Lopez is so frustrating at 7 foot. You know, I get 3 rebounds tonight. The guy played 37 minutes and got 3 rebounds, and there's so much evidence to show you that he is just not a tough guy. Another first quarter great performance, right? And then the rest of the way, he scored 10 in the first quarter and 7 the rest of the game. You know, I don't know. You know, Noah gives you grit and heart. I mean, most of the Bulls do. But Noah sets, another one I'm going to try and dig up some pictures of it. Noah sets, almost every screen he sets is illegal and never gets called. He stuck his knee out on that last screen. The one that, not the last one, the one with Bellinelli, who kills the Nets, by the way. When I saw Bellinelli in the starting lineup, I even texted my buddy Ken. I said, you know, I know Dang is a good player, but Bellinelli kills us. And he did. Bellinelli was, I mean, look at his numbers. Bellinelli, 8 for 21. Didn't shoot great. 22 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. I mean, that's not bad for a guy. He's supposed to come off the bench. But anyhow, Noah sets the screen, sticks his knee out, goes knee to knee with Johnson, almost. And it doesn't get called. And then the last play where he stepped out of bounds, he just basically lowered his shoulder, did a forearm to Gerald Wallace, and knocked his ass to the floor and doesn't get called. I'm going to find these videos and show them, or clips. I mean, I get the toughness. The Bulls have the edge. But, man, you got to play the game legally. And Noah is, and he gets away with it. Give him credit. His team's on demand. But, boy, does he do a lot of illegal things in the low post area, underneath for rebounds, setting screens, does a lot of things that are illegal. Speaking of illegal, I mean, are you kidding me, refs? I mean, Nate Robinson's move against Chris Humphries? Or was it Lopez? I forget who it was. I think it was Lopez. Whatever. What do you call that? I mean, it was a blatant carry. I don't get it. I don't get how, again, what's PJ doing? Why is he not screaming? I've seen enough of PJ, I tell you. PJ, you know, your team is a reflection of you. You know, you look at the Golden State team. Golden State team, now listen, you know, I picked Golden State to win that series. You can check out my Facebook wall if you don't believe me. I did. And they did everything in their power to lose the game in the last 2 minutes of the game. They turned the ball over 10 times in the fourth quarter, Golden State. But, you know, teams kind of take on the personality of their coach. Is there any secret why the Bulls are tough? Thibodeau scares me when he sits down. If I was a reporter, I'd be afraid to ask him a question. I don't know if Mark Jackson's a great basketball coach. He probably isn't. Probably more like a Byron Scott. But, you know, he's tough. He's active. PJ, It's almost like a guy that knows that this is, he's just like in his retirement. He's like on a retirement plantation. I mean, he doesn't instill anything. I don't see him bringing anything into the game. I just am very frustrated with him, And here's my thing that I'll close. If I'm a Bulls fan, you got Game 7, and I get it. How far are you going? You're not going far with this depleted team. But Derrick Rose, Mon Shumpert's been back for 2 months, 3 months. How about Derrick Rose makes an appearance in Game 7? I mean, you watch video of the guy. He's in practice. He's shooting around. No? I mean, can you imagine if Derrick Rose was in New York? Imagine if he was with the Knicks or the Nets. The kind of heat he'd be getting for, doing all these activities and not playing in a Game 7 on Saturday. Do the Bulls pull one out of their ass and say, hey, Derrick, does Derrick Rose say I'm playing? I don't know. I don't even know if he's allowed to. I don't know the rules of the NBA. If he's, I'm sure he is. I mean, I don't think it's like baseball where you have a roster. I'm sure he's active. I would think. But if you're the Bulls, why? If you're Derrick Rose, boys, I'm coming back. Now I'm not saying he would be effective. He probably wouldn't be. He'd probably be rusty. But Dang is out. Probably going to be sick even if he plays. Robinson's not a good starter, although. Once again, he lit up D-Will. Did his thing. Wouldn't you play? And I'll tell you right now, I don't care if 7 Chicago Bulls are hurt or sick. Don't expect me to be throwing bomb-bombs up. We got this game, 7. Now, if you look on my Facebook page, I predicted this to go 7. And I predicted to be an 83-all tie with about 2 minutes to go. Now, you tell me who you like. Now, you say, well, the Nets' last 2 games down the stretch, yeah. But this game, right, they survived. They survived without Boozer, without Heinrich, without Dang, without Gibson. The Nets survived the game with all of their healthy starters. They survived. And they survived Game 5 in their own building when it was a close game. They pulled away on a 13-0 run. Yes, got to give them credit. They survived. But you feel the same way? I mean, what did this game show you in terms of killer instinct from the Nets that makes you feel great Saturday night? I don't know. In a way, I was texting some of my buddies, like, in a way, if they lose this, it would be more of a inspirer for this organization to make some drastic changes. I mean, imagine losing to that depleted team yesterday. You would have to think that the Dwight Howard situation would be revisited. I got this crazy thought in my head, and we'll talk about it in the offseason, that Dwight will be in that, and different way that most people think he will be, but I have this sneaky suspicion, just a gut. And if they lost this game, it would have been a certainty. There's no way that you can rest. Losing Game 6 to a bunch of sick, unhealthy, already depleted Bulls, when all you had to do is take care of business in that game after blowing last Saturday, and you come home to Brooklyn. So imagine that loss. So my opinion, I was like, man, in a way you lose this game, it forces the front office's hand to take a look and go, we can't go through this again. We got a chance. We had a chance here to get through a Chicago Bulls team completely depleted and at least get to the second round. And we don't get there. So, will I be happy on Saturday if they win? Of course. Of course I want to see them play Miami. Drives me crazy that it's not the Knicks pending. How about the Knicks? How good do they look right now? Now you tell me you wouldn't, if you're the Nets, you wouldn't be looking forward to potentially testing that out? The Knicks on the verge of going 3-3, potentially. I predicted the Knicks to win the series in 6. They're still a better team. They should win in Boston. They should. But how nice would it have been to be the 3 seed? I know, I keep getting back to it. How nice would it have been to be the 3 seed and have the Knicks in the second round? And then you beat the Knicks, and then, to me, that's my NBA championship. We could lose to Miami in 3. Best of 7, lose in 3, and I'd be happy. You follow me? But anyway, getting off on a tangent. Never thought I'd see a win and feel angry. I was angry most of the game. Didn't enjoy any of it. Of course, even the first half, they shot the hell out of the ball, but wasn't enjoyable because they gave up 54 points. So we'll see what happens on Saturday night. Your guess is as good as mine. I predicted 7. I think it'll be a close game. The Nets, logically, should win the game like they did in Game 1. They should win going away. Could they? Of course they can. They're more talented than the Bulls are, and they're healthier. So of course they can. Will they? Whole other story. I'll have to see. Leave me alone.